Hello guys, welcome back to High Availability on SAP application and HANA database using SUSE cluster. In this slide, we are going to learn what is high availability. So before we directly jump onto this concept about high availability, I would like to take few minutes to talk about how does any SAP ABAP file system or SAP ABAP system looks like and how it used to look before NetWeaver 7.3 version. So if you see this diagram, we have three blocks. First is ACS, second is PAS. PAS is nothing but the primary application server. This is called as PAS, and third is database. This is the current architecture post NetWeaver 7.3. If you look back to your SAP ABAP systems prior to NetWeaver 7.3, how it used to look like, it used to have two instances. One is central instance and the other is application instance, or let's say the primary application instance. We can write it as PAS. So in under the central instance, we used to have the couple of services called message server, ICM, NQ. I'm going to write the rest of the services here because it's not fitting in the box. The remaining used to be gateway, dispatcher, and work processes. So these all services used to be covered under PAS as well, except message server and NQ server. So your central instance used to have two additional services, message server and NQ. The rest used to be coming in PAS as well, as in gateway, dispatcher, ICM, and work processes, etc. IGS. So later on, what happened, SAP divided these structure into two blocks. These two main central services became part of ACS instance. So these were separated from the primary application server, and then the remaining services used to be part of the PAS. And next is the database. So database is nothing but to store your data. This is your data storage. This database again can be any database, HANA database, Sybase, SQL, or MaxDB, anything. But in this course, we are going to see the high availability on SAP HANA database. So if you see the architecture of this, it contains three basic components: ASCS. AS is nothing but the application server, or you can call it as PAS, primary application server, and the database. As we talked earlier, ASCS will be including these two services: message server, NQ server. Application server will have these many services: gateway, dispatcher, ICM, work process, etc. And database is going to be your data source or the data storage server. So each service in SAP instance is having its own significance. Let's say message server. We are not going to talk detail about each server. I'm just going to take a quick introduction about these two services because these are going to be important for your cluster, or let's say the high availability on application. So what does your message server do? So it is nothing but it is the communication channel between your SAP instance from dispatcher to your server. Let's say when any user is trying to log into your SAP system, it enters its user ID and the password. So what does happen? This request is taken care by message server. It takes the request and then it forwards to the, I'm going to delete the remaining data. So what does it do? It takes your details. This request is taken by message server. It is forwarded to the dispatcher, which is included in any of the past server or any additional application server, which we are not going to discuss here in this slide. Okay, so dispatcher will be taking your request and will be assigning this request to one of the work process which is available to process it. Once this request is taken care, user is going to be entered into your SAP system. So what do you see if your message server is down? In case ASCS instance is down, definitely your message server is not going to respond. In that case, what will happen? User is going to face the outage. So to avoid that, what can we do? We can add high availability on this particular instance. We will be having a separate node for ASCS. So what is high availability? In short, if you see, I have mentioned in high availability system, you have the redundancy of the components covering all the single points of failure. In case if it is not responding, these services are going to be moved to another node, which is going to be your high availability node, that we are going to see in the further slide. So high availability is nothing, it is to provide the redundancy on each and every SAP application service. Okay, also this high availability can be achieved on multiple layers. That again decides your SLA. And in this course we are going to cover high availability only on 2 layers, that is the application and database. Apart from that, we can achieve high availability on network, backup, or let's say on other layers as well. So that's it. Thank you.